this is Moon here, and if you can clearly tell by my voice, I'm fucking sick. I could do some shit, but not much. So if you saw on Insta, I explained that my ass got strep throat. Thank God it's not COVID, but yeah. So I'm gonna answer some questions for y'all with good old fucking tea. To answer questions that some of y'all wanted me to answer. So without further ado, let's get into this Q&A so y'all can learn a little more about me. Also, I also said that probably once I'm a little more better, I can finally do the voiceovers for the Curse Comments episode 1, because literally I have the comments, just my ass is fucking sick. Alright, let's get into it. So this person asked 2 questions. We're gonna start with the first part. How'd you start to play SSO? Or basically in the second part, which is another version, how'd you discover the game? So a little long story short, how I typically discover video games is that as when I was little, I was like 10, like roughly like 10, 11-ish. But around the time, I was 10. So how I normally discover games is usually I end up seeing them through YouTube videos. And not from other people playing them, it's just because of from like gameplay trailers and stuff like that. That's how I discovered a lot of horse games that I played as a kid. Same things with like Barbie or stuff like from the Wii, stuff like that. And prior, I actually wanted to play Alicia. And this was around when Alicia was from their actual company, not the group that from Facebook that people took to actually bring that to life. And back in the day with Alicia, you actually had to buy an account because in order to actually make an account, you need a Korean social security number. And since people from outside of Korea wanted to play this, they had to mainly buy an account through a website of some sort, or they had to be lucky if they had a friend that had a social security number to actually do it. And my little 10-year-old self was very fucking sad that I couldn't play this game. So I ended up basically looking through horse game videos, and SSO's trailer, the very first trailer might I add, popped into my peripherals. And this was like when SSO was in their first early stages, so it looked like this. And I tried to make an account, and I think it was only when there was beta, so that's why I couldn't get in the first time. Then when the summer came before I was going to 5th grade, I checked back in again, and lo and behold, Star Stable was ready as a daisy. And fun fact, Daniella Moonstar is actually not my first account. My first account was by the name of Christina Starstone. And I honestly forgot what I named my horse on that one. But it's the same color as my starter horse that I have on here. I don't have access to that account anymore, and that's because I forgot the login. Because a little bad habit that I had as a kid, basically, I would make multiple accounts just so I could replay the games again. And since I was being a cheap ass even back then with replaying the free trials, so I didn't know no better. So after like a couple of months into 5th grade, I was like, I'm gonna try this game again because I see like they got Christmas stuff. Because on the first account, I went as far as before I could, purge the darkness from Golden Hill's Scarecrow Hill, that shit. So and this was around when Lifetime finally came to the game. Back then there was no Lifetime here in other regions besides Sweden. We only had up to 6 months, I believe. So by then, I asked my dad, and I was like, Dad, can I get Lifetime? And this was like roughly around Christmas, so he was like, sure, honey, you can get it. And it was also along lines of like, just make sure you do good on your grades, shit like that. So lo and behold, I got my Lifetime account, and I was a happy 10-year-old that day. I also just realized I forgot to say who was the person that did the question. Random Dog Collector, thank you for your question. What's your favorite SSO horse? Oh boy, that's a bit of a toughie. I'm gonna separate this up a little bit just to make a little thing. You see, when it comes to horse colors, I will always, in my heart, love white, or basically, in this case, light gray horses. Reason why I'm saying white is because I said that as a kid, just so you could give it a little bit of an understanding. My dream horse of whenever I actually want to get a horse, which is hopefully when I'm older and I actually have, financial stability to do that, and also learning how to ride in real life. But the dream horse that I've always wanted was an all-white or light gray horse with a white mane, with blue eyes or any eye color. And I have always wanted a horse like that. And now that I'm older, I'm actually pretty tall in real life. I would probably want like a perch-on in real life, mainly because since it would probably support my tall ass, or God knows how the fuck it'll work on a normal horse. Regardless, either one's fine. Regardless, I probably would want both anyways, knowing me. But I would say my favorite SSO horse. See, that's also a tough question, because the funny thing is, when it comes to horses in this game, I always make sure I buy horses that I actually want, not just because of this and this. That's why, fun fact, I have never sold a single horse in this game, because I didn't regret any of the horses that I've bought. So, there you go. And I ain't selling them, so you know. I could say my starter, but then that's gonna be a very basic answer. So, I would have to say, if I had to choose, your girl loves chunky boy breeds. I really do. So, it's a tie between the Irish Cobs and the Percherons, but I'm probably gonna pick the Irish Cobs. Specifically, that light dapple gray Irish Cob, the white one, this one. It's fucking pretty. It's a tough question though, because also I like the Arabian. Like, I love the Arabians and the Gotland ponies and the American paint horses. But my ass loves chunky boy breeds, and my ass likes white horses. So I guess the proper answer to this question is any white, light gray horse that's a normal horse or a chunky boy breed. From Bumble Baggins. Sorry if I butchered that. That's a good question right there. The next question is from Piper Spizik Baker. Do you have any pets? I used to, but sadly I don't. So, in terms of pets, I actually really want a Siberian Husky. I love those dogs to death. Not just because of looks, but I love their personality. I love their activeness. And I feel like in general, for the lifestyle I want to achieve, I really love those kind of dogs. And plus, they're fucking fluffy, and they're adorable, and they're sassy, like myself. In terms of pets that I used to have, I had rabbits. And I did have a dog once, but it was a small dog. So, I only had this dog for a week. And this was because my older cousin at the time that I was working at the mall, because, you know, one of those pet shop things that are outside of the mall in, like, central areas were like, hey, you want to adopt this dog? It was like that. She took home a dog. And what happened was, she thought it was a good idea to, get this dog a bone. Mind you, this is a small Pomeranian black dog. Her name was Daisy. Very original name. But here's what happened. My older cousin didn't know that you were not supposed to have your dog eat the whole bone. What did this dog do? It ended up eating a whole big-ass bone. It ended up getting sick. Took it to the vet. And then unfortunately it got taken away. I was a sad third grader that day. I was mad at my older cousin for like a good week, because I loved that dog. I had rabbits, as I stated earlier. So the first rabbit, and the one that I had the longest, was a rabbit named Molly, and she was an albino rabbit. Fun fact, my older cousin also thought that this was a boy rabbit. No, it was not. I was so happy that it was a girl. And then came to the second rabbit that we also had temporarily for a few months, because Molly decided it was a good idea to beat the shit out of this rabbit almost, and his name was Henry. Henry was like a black and white rabbit. He was a sweet rabbit. He was really a sweet rabbit, and I was sad that we had to give him up to a rabbit farm because Molly just kept beating his ass. Molly was a good rabbit. She would also like to use ornaments on the Christmas tree as a punching bag. She did not like wood floors, and as expected. And she may have been a sassy rabbit, but she was a good rabbit. And she unfortunately died during Halloween of 8th grade, so when I was 13, R.I.P. Molly. She lived a long time for a rabbit. She lived since I was 5, so that was a long time for a rabbit. But yes, would I want a rabbit again? Actually, I would. But in terms of rabbits, my ass does kind of want those giant ass rabbits. Madison Art asked, are there any other games you play, and if so, what are they called? And love the vids. Thank you, ma'am. I do play other games. So, in terms of another horse-related MMO, I play Elysia. Let me just show you. So yes, this is my Alicia account. I do plan on doing videos on Alicia, just not right now. And if you're wondering how much I love this game, well, I have 3 accounts including this one. Other games I play, I also play Genshin Impact. Yes, I do play this game. I don't know what it is with a bunch of SSO influencers all of a sudden finally looking at Genshin. But fun fact, I thought Genshin was just another one of those iPhone apps that were very fucking cringy. But no, I was like, fuck it. This story looks intriguing. I'm gonna play this fucking game. Alright. Besides other games that I've played like that I actively play, I've played Black Desert Online. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim recently, Minecraft. I do have other games that I play. I do like to revisit some of my older horse games that I played as a kid. In terms of what's not on my PC, I'm still getting through this series, by the way, the Kingdom Hearts series. And if anybody is curious if they know this game, I am in Kingdom Hearts 2. That bitch is taking so fucking long. I have touched some Final Fantasy games. In terms of the one I've been actively playing the most is Final Fantasy 15. I have the 7 remake, I just haven't done that. Also still getting through Persona 5. I have Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's on PlayStation 4. I do plan on getting it on the PC, and I don't know if PlayStation 4 lets you play online without having to do the membership. It probably doesn't, so sadly, I haven't been able to do Red Dead Online. I do want to try it, even though people have been talking about that there's a lot of issues with it right now, not getting content, but I still want to try it. I do have other games that I have in my arsenal. I just haven't either played them that much or I haven't really touched them due to college. But yeah. Monstaz Gaming asks, what was the most important age in your life and why? I would have to say when I turned 17. And that was because the day after I turned 17, a lot of shit went down. I got cut from basketball during my junior year, meaning I couldn't try out for varsity in my senior year. I was getting bullied a lot in track when I was doing shot put and discus. I was in a vulnerable state where people that I thought that cared about me in my grade never gave a shit about me, including one person that was a junior. I felt like that period was when I realized a lot about how people were treating me. And with the pandemic, especially when I was turning 18 in May, I felt like that whole period taught me a lot. I felt like quarantine, to be honest, without quarantine, I would have never realized that that 8 group of supposed friends had never really cared about me. Which is why I thank God for people that were in my life and that are still in my life, especially now at college and outside of college. In terms of finding in real life friends that stick, I haven't really found that yet besides like church stuff. I hope that I find people that actually want to come for me, that actually want to care about me, that actually support me, and that are actually there for more than just when I needed help. Shit like that. In terms of the people, the 8, would I want them back in my life if they were a changed person for the better? Yeah. But would I really want them if they were still mistreating me? No. And plus, I also went through a period, kind of still am, considering if I was bisexual or not. I knew that I loved dudes. Don't get me wrong, I would love dudes. I just didn't know if my actions were out of the fact that I liked girls or not. So I kind of just ended up just really deciding that I'm just going to this is going to get a little religious. I'm just going to let God help me figure this shit out. I'll just see what path God has set on me, and if I end up being bi, I end up being bi. Regardless, I will still love dudes. So that's where I'm at. And I felt like also I grew a lot from when I was 17. I felt like I also thank quarantine for basically realizing that, hey, you have very shitty ass mental health, and also realizing a lot about how a person should really treat you as a friend and not how they should treat you as a fucking client. And in general, I'm just grateful for being able to become more mentally strong, more perceptive, and have more knowledge about what it means to actually be a friend. Do they not fall for words that make you feel like that person cares about you when they evidently don't? This is gonna be good. So, my friend Huggy asked, thoughts on the Majestic Appaloozas? Okay, I'll be honest with y'all. I give them a 6.5 out of 10. They're okay. And that's just because I'm not a fan of how they did them. On top of that, I'm shocked that Nami did these horses. Because, honestly, this was not what I was expecting of an Appaloosa. And this is coming from someone that loves Appaloozas in real life. So, that's not how this episode did them. Oh dear. Y'all, they look like mules to me. And also on top of that, the gates. Y'all, the faster gates, and even some of the other gates, they just look like their chest. Specifically, they just look like they have fucking arthritis, or they're just tiptoeing with their extra gate. Now, don't get me wrong, they have a beautiful coat range. However, some of the coats just make them look like an old man. And on top of that, what is this default main style? This is the ugliest default main style. I thought the ugliest was the Hannah variant, but nah, this takes the cake. This is the ugliest one.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Besides that, what is this hard stop, man? This is another hard stop to add to the list of hard stops that are fucking very shitty. Nami, honey, what were you thinking? I'm gonna be honest, look, a lot of y'all on Insta be telling her, you did such a good job. Yeah, on some stuff, but I have to be honest with you. This isn't your best work, ma'am. It's not your best work. This is at mediocre. It's not the worst, but it's mediocre. Now, would I still buy this horse? Actually, yeah, I would, because I do have coats that I like. I love the Bay blanket, that black blanket one that's at Fort Pinta. In terms of what they did to the Leopards, those two. The one in the app just looks like someone just took, they went to Photoshop, and then they just smudged it. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to roast some of this shit. And the same with the fucking other one that's in the game. That one just looks like they took the airbrush brush and then just put it all over the place. I'm just like, come on, man. You could have done better. Like, come on. It could have been so much better. But no, they probably just made a quick book to say that they got something for January. Also, in terms of the Welsh ponies, y'all, be honest about the Welsh ponies. The Welsh ponies look better than the Appaloosa. Yes, they have, their eyes are too fucking big and their legs are too lanky. But these look better, y'all. These look just better. And they're cute. Just fix the fucking long-ass lanky legs and the weird neck issue and the eyes, and they're good to go for release. But knowing them and how spoilers work, they very rarely fix shit in the spoilers anyways. And this is a little fact, y'all. What you see in the spoilers will more than likely be what's gonna be in the fucking game, because they never fix shit from the spoilers unless if they actually added something that they wanted to change. It is very rare. If you're wondering how rare, the only 2 times they actually changed something was when they changed that bay coat to have that bald face on the Arabian, and when they had changed the Percheron special move on that spacebar to not have a spacebar move to actually have a special gate instead. This game, man, this game. But yeah, good question, Huggy. Okay, I can't read this first name, but she asked 2 questions. We'll start with the first time. Besides Star Steel, what is your favorite game to play with friends? And that hopefully always brings you joy, never makes you rage. That's a good question. I'll be honest, I don't play that much competitive games either because I don't really have them, or they just look too toxic. I guess probably the most, in terms of competitive, that's Alicia. However, I do want to play games like Overwatch, but I'll tell you one competitive game franchise that I will never touch. I will never touch Call of Duty. That shit looked too toxic. I've heard shit from the grapevine. I've seen videos from the grapevine. That shit looked too toxic and shit. But Honestly, also, games don't really make me rage. Here's the thing. I look at gaming as a thing I like to come to when I de-stress, or, like I said, sometimes escape from reality. But here's the thing. This is where I like to relax, where I like to, have fun, shit like that. I never really get, obviously, yeah, I can get frustrated at stuff, but I never really full-on rage. And if I felt like I would just take a break, obviously. But most of the time, I don't really rage in games. I don't really do that at all, to be honest with you. I really don't. When did you decide to make a YouTube channel, and what was your motivation? So, I made this channel in 2015 on the 1st of January. Somehow. Some sort of way. In terms of me actually starting it, I started it like around when I first did a speed paint in 2016. And back then, I actually wanted at first to just be like a speed paint art channel, since I like doing edits, or when Star Stable, I like doing art. And I felt like what motivated me a lot to do videos is just because I like doing stuff with my friends. I just want to share stuff like that. I didn't care about like buying horse trends and shit like that. I wanted to do shit that was fun and also just do content, because I like making videos and I like editing. So what can I say? It's basically a hobby, and I really enjoy doing it. And what also motivated me more was, especially with the shit going on with SSO, this motivated me further to talk about the issues with SSO and so forth. And also, don't worry, as I said, y'all, I will still be talking about SSO. I still will, because a lot of shit still happens with SSO. Because I feel like at the end of the day, if SSO doesn't work on this shit, this game's gonna be gone by like fucking 2023 or shit like that. We don't even fucking know. But yeah. Now, this is not really an intentional question, but I guess this would count as like the final question, which is by, I'm gonna just say Silence. And she or he said, okay, so you're done with the documentary series, and what do we do now? They ain't gonna listen. Well, this is what I said in the end of my documentary series. Go on a Star Coin strike. Spread the word. Don't give up. Shit like that. Because we have to keep pushing. We have to keep speaking up. If we don't speak up, shit ain't gonna get better with SSO. And that's just the common truth. If people don't speak up, we're gonna be in a state of never really improving. So that's why I think the best thing we should do. And with that, y'all, that's my final question for this Q&A. Thank you to those who have sent in the questions, and thank y'all for bearing with me with my sick ass voice. So with that being said, hopefully once I'm a lot better, I will actually be able to do the voiceover for the cursed comments videos, because oh boy, y'all, I got some juicy ass comments. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.